Okay, so I'm going to record this one. We did the palette knife here with the mountains. We're going to try something different now. This is the other one that we had finished in 5 minutes. Now we're just going to work with this. I have this underpainting, and I'm going to do something very, very thick. And I'm just going to put using the fan brush, I'm just going to do it real fast now. It's going to be a different type of painting. So what I'm doing is I'm just showing you just how to load this up. So if you're doing it at home, in other words, you can get a lot of strokes. I want to show students this, of trying to get these strokes when they're painting all at once in the brush. This could be your kind of underpainting here. I do that when I want to cover something fast. Just going to show you how to get this texture down real fast. It's quite different from doing something that's realistic, but you have to build it up fast, right? And don't worry about trying to get everything so exact as far as the strokes and the texture. It's kind of doing your underpainting and building it up. Let's see, that's going to be a wheatgrass area. Let's make this something different. I'm going to change it. And then I can build something up from this. So this is how I start most of my Impressionist paintings, by putting the texture down real thick. Kind of have my areas, and what I do is when I paint, I always divide like my background from my foreground, from my middle ground. In this situation, I'm not going to even clean my brush. I kind of want it to be all muddy with all these colors. And remember when we were talking about last week as far as making sure that all the colors in your painting relate to each other? So I chose this sky color because it has a little bit of brown, and it has some blues. And then I'm just putting this on top. And this is my beginning of my layering for my whole canvas. Once I have my background and my foreground. It's quite different from something that's super realistic than that. I think that the idea is just going loose with the stroke and not so much focusing on the idea to get it 100% correct. Also, not so much even thinking about, cleaning your brush and thinking about bringing those colors down. The wonderful thing about Impressionist paintings or paintings in general, even when you're looking at oils, that students mostly like is the texture and also those loose little bit of strokes of color. Okay, because when you start thinking I have to put this color here and this color here and this color here, you can't build it up as fast. So you have to practice how you can look at things and then start layering them. Okay, so now let's pretend we're going to use this brush. Still going to use the same palette I have. Something strange here. As you can see in TV land, I don't know, we'll put like a boat or something here maybe. And I'm just going to put the outline of it. work on that later. And then what I'm going to do, again, I want to put as much texture as I can. And build that up. So green. And remember, this painting is going to have a lot more layers. This is what I'm just putting in, and remember, in the first 5 minutes of the painting, just to build this up. I'm going to let this dry so it doesn't get too muddy. And in 2 seconds, if I was using acrylic soils, I can go back in there. But it's the idea of putting those colors on top. Totally 100% different than if we're doing something that's layered like this. As you can see, let me show you in TV land, look at all of that color already on that canvas. I think that the situation is, I tell students, first of all, the first thing is have your color palette ready, right? So all your colors are your swatches. Remember how we did the continuous palette? That's kind of my idea. You don't have to go with it, but I think it works really good in a painting. And practice using like 1 or 2 brushes, putting down a lot of color. Don't press too hard in the beginning until you get the feeling of how it feels, okay? Because for each person, it's going to be different. And then put the coloring on top. These colors don't really relate to each other, but look how loose they work. As you wouldn't really think of putting a sky, you see, as a brown mixed with a blue, but it does work like this. Then let it dry. And again, this is like, what, 5 minutes in? After that, I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'll put another layer and another layer and another layer until I start making it look the way that I want to. But again, these are my main 3 colors that I'm gonna have. I know I'm going to have a little bit of light coming down here. I'm going to bring up the yellow in here and bring it down here and change those colors in the grass. I'm going to have another figure here. And the painting moves with you. And the wonderful thing about painting is you can keep changing it as you go along, you know. But as long as you have your colors, I mean, I've been painting for a while, so I can do it fast. But as long as you have your colors together, I tell beginning students, and your color swatches, and you try, just like I do, just moving with the brush or the palette knife, you can get to that point, and it's going to be, for a while, it's going to be a piece of clay you can do with your eyes closed, okay? So try it on little small, don't waste canvases like I do, I just do it for demos, but do it on little small pieces of paper that we have, that I've provided you with in the classroom, and try that layering technique, and trying to do it also smooth as I did with the brush. So I'll finish these in like about 5 minutes, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.